Hello, receiving teachers, receiving students, and 6Es. Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, let's quickly go through the answers to our previous lessons exercise. So I have prepared this on the chart. So I'll be calling out to students to come up and quickly from your book. I know you have completed the exercise. What are the equivalent fractions to 3/5? 6's, are we following? So let me explain what you are going to be writing on the space provided on this chart. So instead of us using the arrow, I've decided to use this format here. We have 3/5 equals 6 over a blank number. Now, seeing that 3 and 6 is given, part of the equivalent fraction is given, what would be a number that you have used to multiply with 3 to get to this 6? So we'll do that before we select students to come and complete the whole table. Those who have completed their work, you can put your hand up just for the sake of the first one, so the rest can fall in line. Let's have, okay, Milika, she has volunteered to come up and write on the chart how you have done yours. You write it in the space here. What did you use? And then you write your answer in the box. Okay, we'll use another color. Okay, it's on the paper, so you can write this. Yes. Okay, Milika has written her answer in the box. Now, how did you get to your answer 10? Milika? How did you get 10?
2 times 5.
2 times 5. Are we multiplying 2 first here, or we are multiplying by 2? Okay, correction, Milika. We are multiplying 5 times 2. Okay, following 6's and receiving students, this is what we should have done on this chart. We write the number that we have used on the space provided. Are we following? Yes. So times 2. We know the top one, we have multiplied that by 2 also. So you write the same at the top. So the first equivalent fraction to 3/5 has been complete. So now let's find out another equivalent fraction to 3/5. This time we follow this line here, the second set of lines. What are the numbers that you are going to multiply with 3 and 5 in order to get the second equivalent fraction to 3/5? I know you have completed that in your book. It's something new that we are using this method here to do our correction. Let's have Thai. Write what number you have used to multiply. How about the top number? Are you going to write something there? I've done it here. Don't forget 6's and receiving students. Whatever number that you used to multiply with the number to get your answer must be the same number that you will use to multiply the top number also. So Thai have come up with 3/5 is equivalent to 9 over 15. He has multiplied 3/5 by 3 for both sides. Let's have another equivalent fraction to 3/5. This time we have a blank space here. 20 is given. And you have the space for you to write whatever numbers that you have used. Rodney, quickly. What have you multiplied to get 12? Okay, Rodney have written his answer on the board. 12 over 20. He has multiplied 3 times. Okay, it's 4. He wrote another answer before that, and then he decided to change that to 4. So I will write that up the top. It's supposed to be 4 times 4, the same as the bottom number. 5 times 4 is 20. Because 20 is already given, it's easier now for you to work out the top number. Let's move on to, can I have another 2 students to come up and complete this last 2? Lorraine, come and do the second last one, and Oa, quickly. Okay, thank you, Lorraine. Give it to Oa. Okay, this is 18. Okay, thank you, Oa. Lorraine have come up with 3/5 times 5, or 3 times 5 is equals to 15. 5 times 5 is equals to 25. Oa multiply 3 times 6 is equal to 18. 5 times 6 is equals to 30. So these are the answers to, or the equivalent fractions to 3/5. Okay, let's have another 5 students quickly to come up and complete this second exercise. Find equivalent fractions to 4/9. You should have completed that for homework, so you can bring your book up to do your correction on the chart. Okay, let's have Ellison, the first one, Rodney, second one. Come on, group 1, 2, 3. I need students from this side also. Okay, quickly. Lorraine. Ty. Quickly, quickly. Or, quickly come up and write your answers. have? Quickly, quickly. That's okay. You can write the other one. Quickly. Okay, tie. Okay, sixes, can I have your attention up here now? Let's go through that together again. Our friend seems to be forgetting what they should have written, what numbers that they have used to multiply in order to get the other equivalent fractions to 4/9. So I'd like us to go through that together. Okay, 4/9 is the fraction. 8/18 is written as the answer and equivalent fraction to 4/9. Now, what number have they used to multiply in order to get these two numbers here? So I'd like answers from you so that I can write that in the space that is being left out. Lorraine, just call out your answer. Very good. So 4 times 2 is equals to 8. So the same number we used at the top must be also used at the bottom. Let's move on to the second equivalent fraction. 12/27. What is the number that we use to multiply the numerator and the denominator? Okay, let's have Laka. Times 3, very good. So 4 times 3 is equals to 12. 9 times 3 is equals to 27. 16/35. 16/35. Let's have OR. And then we can make correction from there. Quickly.
Times 4.
Times 4. Okay, let's go through together. 4 times 4 is equals to 16. This is correct. 9 times 4, is it 35? No, so it's supposed to be 36. So it's not 35, it's 36. Let's move on to the other equivalent fraction. Madhu? Loud and clear? Times 5. 4 times 5 is equals to 20. 9 times 5 is equals to what? 6 and receiving students. 9 times 5 is it equal to 36? Vanessa? 9 times 5 is equals to Louder.
45.
Very good. 9 times 5 is equals to 45 and not 36. Good try to Lorraine. I think Lorraine was the one that wrote 36. And the last one, class. What is the number that our friend have used in order to get the last equivalent fraction to 49? Class? Times 6. So this is what you have, or you should have written in your book, following the other steps that you have learned in your previous lesson. So these are the 2 exercises that I have asked you to complete. We will now move on to our lesson topic for today. It is still on equivalent fraction part 2. The definition is still the same. Equivalent fractions represent the same number. One way to find equivalent fraction is to multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, 6Cs and receiving students, I'd like you to pay close attention to what we should have, or what are we going to be doing in our lesson for today. Here we have the learning activity and also a short description again on what we are going to be actually doing. So have a look at what is expected of us to do. One way to find equivalent fraction is to divide. In your previous lesson you were multiplying. Today we are going to divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. Your previous exercise or lessons exercise, you were working out equivalent fractions in order for you to get this fraction here. Now let's try to find out what would be the number that will, or the equivalent fraction to 12 over 15. 4 is given. Having in mind we are dividing, doing the opposite of multiplying. What would be a number that we can use to divide into 12 to get to 4? 12 divided by what number is equals to 4? Okay, I can hear some students calling out the answer. Imelda?
3.
Imelda says 3. Is it correct? Yes, this is the answer that I am looking for. We divide 3 into 12 and we come up with 4. We have 4 times 3 is equals to 12. So the same number that we used at the top to divide must be the same number at the bottom, which is 3. Now 15 divided by 3. Rodney?
5.
Rodney says 5. Do we all agree? 15 divided by 3 is equals to? Okay, 5. Very good. So this was the fraction that you used in your previous lesson when you were multiplying in order to find your equivalent fraction. So this time I have changed the fraction around so that we use the other operation, which is division. 8/10 is given, equals part of the fraction not given over 5. What would be a number divisible to 10 in order for us to get to 5? Class, together? 2. 2, very good. 10 divided by 2 is equals to 5. Now, can you tell us what would be the top number? 4. So 8 divided by 2 is equals to 4. So this is what you can do when you come across fractions that are bigger in order for you to find the other equivalent fraction to that. We still have another learning activity. Okay, I understand that you have gone through drawing factorpila. This can be another way that you can use to find equivalent fraction by dividing. So here we have, you are to draw a factorpila for 20 and 30 from the fraction 20 over 30. So I understand you have already have an idea on how to draw a factorpila, but for our case now, I will have to put the factorpila, incomplete factorpila, so that we can go through that together. Okay, 60s and receiving students, what are the factors of 20? Fred, from there you can give us the answers to that, or your factors that you multiply to get to 20. The first one. Let's give our answers in order from the smaller number to the bigger number.
1 times 20.
Very good. 1 times 20. So I will write 1 times 20. What about the second one, Junior?
2 times 10.
2 times 10. Very good. Another one, Victoria?
4 times 5.
4 times 5. And how about the last one? Lorraine?
5 times
5 times 4 is equals to 20. So these are the factors of 20 using a factorpila. We will continue completing the factorpila for 30. So we have 20 and now we have 30 is already here. So what we are going to do from these two, we will now try to find out what are the common factors that are found in these two numbers, 20 and 30. 6's, are we following? Okay. And we are going to put a circle around those common factors. What are the common factors here? Cornea? 5. Another one? Ellison? Okay, I will circle 5 here and 5 here. What's another one? 10. Okay, we have 10 here. And we also have 10 here. So I will write 10. Another one. Okay, let's have our friend up here in group 2.
2.
2. We have 1, 2 found in 20 and another 2 here. Any more? Okay, let's have Irene from the back.
1.
1 is common for all numbers. So we will write 1, but If you divide any number, it will always give you 1 and not the other numbers. So for this case, we will concentrate on 2, 5, and 10. So 1, 2, 5, and 10 are common factors that you can find in 20 and 30. Using these numbers here, I would like us to go through completing this. So we have here the common factors of 20 and 30 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. We will use these numbers here to find the equivalent fractions to 20 over 30. Are we following? 6 is, are we following? Yes. Okay, good. Now, looking at this chart, 10 over blank. Which of these numbers here, which of these common factors here are we going to use in order to get to find the equivalent fraction or the first equivalent fraction to 20 over 30? We are going to now choose from these common factors here. Okay, let's have Christina.
2.
Okay, Christina says 2. What are we going to do there? What operation are we going to do there? Are we multiplying to get to 10? No, we are going to do the opposite of multiplying, which is divide. So we divide 2 on both sides. So 20 divided by 2 is equals to 10. The same number that we used to divide from the top must be the same number at the bottom. So 30 divided by 2 is equals to how many? Vanessa?
15.
Is it correct? Yes. 30 divided by 2 is 15. That is the first equivalent fraction to 20 over 30. Let's go on to finding another equivalent fraction to 30. This time, 6 is given. The top number from this fraction is not given. We have a clue there. Or
5.
5. Complete sentence, please. What did you do with 5?
Divided by 5.
Okay, 6 season receiving students, don't forget to make a mention of the operation that you have used. So in this case, divide by 5. So 30 divided by 5 is equals to 6. We have been given the bottom number of this. So the same divisor here will be used at the top. 20 divided by 5 is equals to 4. So to confirm that, you can multiply 4 times 5 is equals to 20. So that's our second equivalent fraction to 20 over 30. Let's now have the last equivalent fraction to 20 over 30. 2 is given. What would be the common factor that we will use to find the last equivalent fraction? Imelda? Very good. 20 divided by 10. So the same applies for the bottom number, 30 divided by 10 is equals to how many? 3. So these are your equivalent fractions to 20 over 30. This is the simplest form of equivalent fraction to 20 over 30, which is 2/3. So 6th and receiving students, if you come across bigger fractions like 20 over 30, you can use this method here to firstly find out your common factors, and then from the common factors you can work out the equivalent fractions to whatever fractions that you are asked to complete. So 6th and receiving students, you have your 2 exercises there. I'd like you to work in groups to complete this exercise, so you can help each other come up with answers or equivalent fractions to A, 18 over 36, and B, 24 over 48. So your times table chart is also needed if you have one on your desk. If you are not clear on what to do, please do not hesitate to put your hand up to ask for help. Write out your numbers neatly. Okay, you should have copied the instruction down into your book and also those 2 exercises, so that when we don't finish, we complete that for homework. Yes. I repeat, you can draw factor pillars for those 2 exercises, so that can help guide you to complete what you have been asked to work out, which is the equivalent fraction. So following the learning activity that we have gone through together, you can also use Factopila to find those fractions. Okay, 6Cs and receiving students, if you haven't completed those two exercises, I would like you to complete that for homework. So in our next lesson, we are going to go through the corrections together. We will now go on to our summary point for today. Our summary point is now on the PowerPoint. Equivalent fractions can be found by dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. Our key phrase, dividing fractions. To the receiving teacher, our next lesson topic is on mixed numbers. Materials needed, 3 pie chart and 6 blocks drawn as a rectangle. With that, receiving students and 6Cs, we have come to the end of our lesson. Thank you for your participation.